But for the people watching this, tell me who you are.
Okay, I'm a Zeta Reticulum.
Okay, so what does that mean exactly?
It means that my heritage is from the planet Zeta Reticuli.
Okay, and where is that exactly? Is that like what, 30, 50, 100 light years away?
It's about 40 light years over in the Orion direction.
Okay.
Now, the thing about our planet is that it's pretty much destroyed.
Right. And is that why you came here? Why? Wait, sorry, I'll ask you first. Why is it that you look like every one of us? Why is it that you look human, like with less hair?
Yeah, well, I think what a lot of people don't really understand is that even though I'm a Zeta Reticulum, to live on this planet, I need to have human genes. I need to have genes that are compatible with this planet.
Human form. So you were conceived on this planet?
No, I wasn't conceived. I was genetically modified and genetically produced to live on this planet.
So were you, well, for lack of better terms then,
okay,
were you born on this planet regardless of the gene?
I'm a Zeta Reticulum soul, and I'm born into a human genome to live on this planet. Because if I was in Zeta Reticulum form, I wouldn't be able to survive.
And what would that form look like? What is the true Zeta Reticulum form?
Well,
can you describe it?
Yeah, Zeta Reticulans were a little bit reptilian looking.
Okay. Is this a bit like David Icke's Reptilians, or is this different?
It's a little bit different. I mean, I've always got a Star Trek thing for you. A little bit like Cardassians.
Cardassians of Star Trek, yeah, okay.
A little bit like that.
Star Trek, yeah, that's they were a bit freaky looking. So that's your true form, and you can't change to that now?
We can shapeshift.
You can, right? But the reason you don't...
You can shapeshift, but to shapeshift it requires enormous amounts of energy to do it, and it will shorten your lifespan significantly. And if you do it too many times during your life, you'll end up depleting your chi energy.
So, energy is in terms of spiritual chi.
Well, to shapeshift is a molecular transformation. It's like you've heard the human body regrows itself every 7 years.
Yeah, it creates new cells.
So to shapeshift is a massive acceleration of that process. That's all shapeshifting is.
And if to sum it up, what would you say the agenda of coming to planet Earth would be from your ancestry's point of view?
Basically, Zeta Reticulans are here for the purpose of genetic modification and genetic diversity.
For what end goal though? To live here?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Right. And is that because that planet is uninhabitable?
Our planet's been ravaged over the centuries and millions of years.
Right, so that brings me to my next question of how old is the race or ancestry from where you've come from?
We go back millions of years.
Millions of years, right. And your mission objective here? Like your particular mission objective, not the overall one.
My specific mission objective here is to seek out and help various humans.
Right, to what? Achieve enlightenment?
It's to... In a sense, yes. It's the sort of people who show a difference about them. People who can escape the normal mundaneness of human thinking and human concepts, and who can see outside of those squares because those people have genes that are attractive to us.
Right, so it's survival of the fittest kind of thing, and you're taking the cream of the crop. Now, how...
Well, interestingly though, the cream of the crop's not like you'd expect it to be on Earth, in the sense of you think of the cream of the crop as an A1 athlete with, super duper genes who can perform, miraculous physical tasks.
Right.
Or someone who's like, an Einstein or someone like that. It's not necessarily about that like what you might think on Earth, but we're here for the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop is a specific genetic makeup that is compatible with Zeta Reticulans.
Right, okay.
Which is generally shown by their ability to think outside of normal.
So you're talking spiritual, mental...
Spiritual and mental qualities that are
right.
inherent in their genomes.
And what would you say the role of the Zeta Reticulans are in terms of the current political status of the world? Have they infiltrated, for lack of better terms, any high positions?
Zeta Reticulans have quite a lot of control over this planet.
What about the other alien races, though? I mean, I've heard of the Anunnaki and I think the Plutonians. Wait, I'm not saying that right.
You're thinking the Pleiadians.
Pleiadians, that's the one. Are they all intermingling? Do you get along, or is it more a power struggle?
There's definitely a power struggle.
Right.
There is a group of aliens that have formed a union, and they do have like a council.
Is this like the Star Trek, Federation?
It's a little bit like the Federation concept. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of Gene Roddenberry, who was the creator of Star Trek, channeled a lot of extraterrestrials.
Yeah, I've heard that before,
and
actually.
So a lot of his concepts, that's where they come from.
I've heard that specifically with Star Wars as well, that the whole concept of it isn't so much fiction, but based on, I wouldn't say real, I think the story plots are fiction, but the concepts behind them, is that, so you're saying that Star Trek is a bit like that?
Star Trek's a bit like that. The Federation of Planets is not called the Federation of Planets, but there's a group of extraterrestrial races that have a council, and they do meet, and they do have an agenda, and they do work together to forward that agenda.
Now, what about interfering with primitive races? I'm referring to the what Star Trek calls the Prime Directive. Is that have a play in it?
Not really.
Not really. But you got to admit that whoever the alien races are involved, they obviously make it their business to not be known. Well, at least in our modern history, anyway. I mean, we see UFOs now and again, and that to some people that's debatable. I personally think that that's a fact. They are, by definition, unidentified. Whether or not they're your clan or the other guy's clans, they are obviously concealing themselves. So, why would you say that is?
Well, I think one of the things about the UFO phenomenon and the reports of sightings and visitations and abductions and all of those things.
So abductions of the fourth kind, the actual onboard ship, motherships,
ships. And these things take place. This is not people's fantasies. This is not false memories implanted. That alleged to have been implanted during hypnosis and regression.
Yeah.
Right? These are real things that are happening. Now, those people that had their lives largely destroyed by these things.
Yeah.
You do have to have some sympathy towards them because it's unfortunate for them.
That's interesting. So, is it real in the sense that they're in reality as we know it, or have they crossed over a bridge to a parallel kind of reality dimension? And how does it work exactly? do you, I mean, maybe I should ask a more simple question of how you get here from A to B. Is that folding space-time? Is that warp drive? Is that...
It's folding space-time.
Right, so it's kind of wormhole technology.
It's kind of wormhole folding space-time technologies.
Yeah, okay. And how long does it take you to get here?
Well, I mean, you've got the fastest, gun in the West trick.
I believe that's a quote from a movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's... How long you get here, it depends on a number of factors. It's not, you think of science as this, but it's actually weird in the sense that you can say it's so many light years away, but its travel time is going to vary because it's a bit like traffic. If you drive a car and you get caught in traffic, one moment it might take you half an hour to get somewhere, it might take you 45 minutes. So it might take us between, 3 Earth years, it might take us between 5 Earth years.
Yeah. Sorry, my dog is pestering me. Come here, come. Wait, stop it, come here. Oh my god. I knew you should ruin the interview. Okay. So my silly dog is
You're on camera though now, right?
No. You can probably hear her. Anyway, where were we? So, it takes about what? It's all relative, right? Everything's relative.
It's about three Earth years, I suppose, to travel with.
Right. So, what is it what is it about Earth? I mean, if you can come here to any, I can only assume that you can go to any other planet. If Zeta Reticuli is roughly 40 light years away, then it stands to reason that
there are other planets. Earth is special.
Earth is special, what, from the abundance of life, for its geographical location in the universe, or?
Its abundance of life.
Right.
It's got a very diversified genetic makeup, which is surprising for its quite young age.
Right, okay. What is it? What's the current consensus? 3.9 billion years? Does that gel with your?
Yeah, it would be about right.
So to the people.
Funnily enough, life did not start on Earth.
The old panspermia argument, where it got delivered by asteroids or another alien race. The Anunnakis apparently have had a play in that, of genetically modifying the Neanderthals on this planet to become what we are. Now, are you familiar with the Anunnaki story?
Yeah, I know about the Anunnakis.
Apparently there was...
They're basically your god. If you're looking for a god, the Anunnakis are your god.
Well, God in the context of creator.
Yeah, they're the creators of humans.
Right. But we do have some DNA that does originate... Well, originates probably a wrong term, that evolved to begin with, at least on this planet.
Yeah.
So evolution and creationism kind of
They actually do fit together.
Yeah, there's a crossover point. So tell me your understanding of the history then in context of the Anunnaki, the Zeta Reticulans, and so what other races were around, knocking about around that time?
Well, there's a few races. Well, I'll tell you about the Anunnaki because you seem interested in the Anunnaki. I mean, the Anunnaki basically fled Earth was an escape.
Wait, was it an escape?
Yeah, Earth was a planet. If you're in a war and you're running away, they ran away and then came to Earth.
Right.
And then when they got here, they found out actually it was not a bad place to run away to. And there's some parallels. It's a bit like Australia was, the English sent the criminals to Australia, and Australia actually turned out to be a pretty good country after all.
Well, that does make sense from what I've heard, that they are a warring race, and that explains the human tendency to be a warring race as well, because of our imprint from them. If they're our creator, then your role essentially has been to integrate your genes as well. So what have we got today from a modern perspective? What does a human constitute?
Human today constitute, most of its genes come from, obviously, they come from various mammals and the like, created by Anunnakis who want to use humans exactly like the Zeta Reticulans.
Right, okay.
And the Zeta Reticulans and the Anunnaki are fighting over humans.
Right. So
your people on this planet, we fight over oil.
Right. But what purpose do we have for them? If they, from the Anunnaki's perspective, they created us, so there's some interest in keeping us around, but your interest for keeping us around is for what? So you can inhabit this planet because of the atmosphere differences, or, what? Tell me.
Well, we want to inhabit this planet because ours has been ravaged, and it's not, it's pretty desolated, and it's no good anymore. It's not a very good planet.
Right.
And we want this planet because this planet is good. It has everything we need. But one of the things that we face is that there's lots of differences between our planet and this planet.
Yeah.
Right? And those differences, right, are not easily overcome. The only way to overcome them is through genetic biodiversity and modification to the Zeta Reticulan genes to make us be able to live here.
So would it be correct to say that a true blood Zeta Reticulan would not be able to survive here?
That's true. That's correct. A original Zeta Reticulan in their form would not be able to live a full life on this planet because there would be too much genetic damage that would occur to them.
So how long would they live? You're talking would they be able to breathe the air but just have a shorter lifespan?
They would be able to breathe the air, but they would have a shorter lifespan. They would suffer more illness. They would suffer deterioration in quality of life because it's just, there's differences in gravity, there's differences in, there's a whole range of differences. Differences in the chemical makeup of the atmosphere. There's a host of differences. There's differences to the way the cells process UV light. There's a range of differences that make it not ideally suitable. But what we do know is that merging human genes with Zeta Reticulan genes to create another species that Zeta Reticulans can inhabit.
Is that a process that they can do at any age, or does it have to be done before prenatal?
Well, it's like you can do genetic modifications and genetic engineering, and you will learn about this in the future when you know about it now, but it'll become more prevalent in the future, where you have genetics is used in medicine, right? You can change and turn on and off genes. So you can do it after, but ideally you want to have the genetic DNA mix in the sperm and female egg cells and create a baby that way.
Okay. Alright, but just a slight change of topic. Now, do you have memories of Zeta Reticuli itself, or have you only ever known Earth but known who you are? When did you... Tell me how it all works.
I'm a Zeta Reticuli, right?
Yeah.
I've come here for a mission.
Okay.
Right? I've been back to Zeta Reticuli
Right. When was that?
many years ago now.
Right. Okay. And just for the record, how old are you right now? I mean, in Earth terms.
In Earth terms,
In Earth terms, what's on your driver's license? How old are you?
I'm 50.
50. Okay. Now, okay, you seem reluctant to answer that. It's normally a straightforward question, but obviously you're not a straightforward individual. What answer first came to mind then?
Well, I mean, I gave you the answer.
Okay, so alright, I won't dig too much into that.
We can go into it a little bit in the fact that yes, off camera we've discussed this slightly about the fact that because we're still trying to merge Zeta Reticulum genes and human genes, it's not working perfectly, and I've got a lot of DNA breakdown, so I've aged quickly.
Right. Okay. Alright, anyway, we'll end it there then.
So that's that question. But if you want to ask about it, I mean, different races on Earth age differently. Chinese people, Asians, they're very young looking for quite a long time.
Right. So which do you focus on any particular race for the genetic modifications? Or is it whoever shows the gifts, the mental, spiritual gifts that you were talking about earlier?
It's a bit of both. We have found that Asian genes are good genes, but not so compatible with Zeta Reticuli.
Right. So if you had to pick a particular race, what race would you pick as far as the most compatible, the most success you've had?
The Nordic type genes are probably one of the better ones.
Right. Okay.
So we'd be talking Swedish, Finnish,
right,
all over that way.
And do you have a hierarchy of command? Do you have someone that you report to, or is this mission? How does it work?
Well, I mean, we've been studying humans for a very long time. We've been modifying human DNA for a very long time. We have positions and the like. So we have a definite hierarchy. We have a definite chain of command. And I report to my supervisor, who reports to his supervisor, who reports to his supervisor.
Right. So it's very much compartmentalised then.
Yeah, and I don't know as much as people higher up, just like people here on Earth don't know as much as the people higher up in their corporation or in their government body.
I think David Icke summed that up by using the bank teller as an example, that the bank teller doesn't know what his manager's doing and the manager doesn't know what the CEO's doing and so on and so forth.
Yeah, well that's right, and it's just the way it is, and it's just the way it is. It works usually. But I mean, we know because, like anything, when you do certain tasks, when you're asked to do certain tasks, you can work out what that task is for, and
you reverse engineer what they're asking. You can work.
You can work.
So it's a need-to-know basis. It's very military style structured. Then, I mean,
yes and no.
Yeah. Now, what is it that you feel that you're doing right?
Well, what I'm doing is
obviously not smoking.
Well, I smoke, yeah, but that's...
Actually, I'll have one too. But that doesn't obviously affect you as much because I've known you for what, 12 years now, and you haven't aged at all in that time.
And I smoke shitloads.
So you were 40 when I met you, and now you're 50.
Yeah.
No, you would have been earlier than that. It would have been you were late 30s. So you look the same. Right. Cut. Yeah.
Where is it?
Do you want me to stop